You are listening to Did You Hear?
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 Johnson County Library podcast.
With hosts Dave Carson and Charles Howard.
We are coming to you
from the Central Resource Library
in Overland Park, Kansas.
This is your Library Insider.
Welcome to another edition of Did You Hear?
Your Library Insider.
And what makes this episode so exciting is, and this is where you fill in the blank for the is.
It is because we're going to talk about the best.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of it.
Part of it, yeah.
I was thinking, this is the last podcast episode of the entire year. We made it through an entire year.
That's true.
And we get a little break from the podcast.
Yep. Nice little holiday.
Yeah. But we had always said that this episode was going to be a kaleidoscope of sound.
Yeah.
And it was always kind of vague what that meant.
Right. We had kind of this nebulous idea of like, wouldn't it be great to include cool sounds from around the library? But
yeah.
Nothing really like set in stone about what that actually would look like.
Yeah, and Charles made the great point. It's like, do people really want to listen to a full 20 minutes of just sounds around the library?
Probably not.
Probably not. So we decided instead to break this up into three parts: past sound, present sound, and future sound. And so we'll give you a little preview of what each of those will be, and then we'll just do it.
Yeah.
So the first is we're going to look back across the year, and we have awards to give out.
That's true.
Yeah. So we're going to have a few little clips from some of the best of the year and hand out some awards.
Yeah. So it seemed like a good time of year to reflect on what we've accomplished and all the great guests we've had and all the cool segments. So
segment number 2, present sound. And so we have a nifty new field recorder, and we went around the library and we picked up some pretty awesome sound, but we didn't limit it to just sounds around the library because of course the library is online as much as anything else, and so we have captured some of the greatest moments in sound online over the past year as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then we have a third segment as well about the future. And in that one, we wanted to try to reach out to some people and find out what are they excited about for the library for the future.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And with that, hey, let's get started. All right, Charles, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so we're looking back at great sound of the year 2022, and we have some categories and some nominees for the best of the best this past year.
That's true. We appreciate all of our sounds and all of our guests, but we wanted to try and figure out who was the best.
Yeah, so how about I read off what the category is, and then you provide the nominees?
Sure.
And then you're the lucky one. You get to open the envelope.
I know.
Because we had a committee that had a lot of coffee. They stayed up all night. They burned the midnight oil. They debated. They deliberated. They weighed heavily on who should win these awards. Without any further ado, let's do it. The first category is Best Internal Interview with Johnson County Library Staff. And the nominees are
Dennis Ross from the episode Silver and Gold, Lydia and Brian from the Make Along, And Emma Fernhout from Mesmerizing Memes and More.
Oh, great episodes. And go ahead and open that up.
Ready?
Yeah.
Open this envelope. Let's see.
And remember, you can find all of those episodes. Did you hear? JocoLibrary.org/Did you hear?
Somebody really sealed this.
Yeah.
And the winner is Dennis Ross.
All right.
Congratulations.
Woo. Okay.
Well, pretty much some of the same things we already talked about. My favorite part has been the people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing that's why the patrons like us so much. It's not the shiny new building; they like the staff, and that has always been true.
When you say the people, are you talking about the patrons or the staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrons always rate the library pretty highly in polls, and I know that's why. It's not the buildings; it's the staff, and it's always been that way. So I think that's been pretty much my favorite thing. That and the constant variety, and because I was in youth services for 36 years, it was fun.
Yeah.
And the fun is a really important part of a job for me. So all those things are my favorite parts.
And our second category, Best External Interview with Someone from the Johnson County Community. And the nominees are?
Chef Brett DeHart from our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
Chef Kalika Simmons from our Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
Couple strong ones there.
Yeah.
And then Ellie Peterson, Social Committee of the Library Lets Loose.
Oh, very good.
And the winner is...
Oh, I'm all on Twitter. I hope you don't get a paper cut. I apologize.
It's okay. Here we go.
Oh.
The winner is Chef Kalika Simmons.
Ah, yeah, that's interesting. So the thing about Kalika is she was a very diverse individual with a lot of energy, and I thought she had some really unique things to say and share in that food episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember walking out of that interview and being like, whoa, what just happened? That interview, there was so much energy and a lot of great suggestions. So
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I gave myself the task of creating this Franken Thanksgiving with all of these weird things. And I was like, okay,
great.
I'm not creating a sausage pizza and lumpia and turkey and latkes and chasio bao, I'm not doing all of that. It's one person and it's two people that are eating.
Right.
So I decided to combine it. Hence my unholy alliance of, are you ready for this? Pizza lumpias.
Pizza lumpias.
So think of an egg roll, only it's stuffed with like sausage and pepperoni and cheese and tomatoes, and it's ooey gooey, and you dip it in marinara sauce when it's like deep fried. So that's I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah.
I did actually put that one on my blog.
Okay. Well, our third category, Best Phone-In Submission. And the nominees are?
Anne-Marie Oman, Polly Alice McCann.
And both of those first two are authors.
That's true.
And they were part of our Writers Conference podcast episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Bonnie from the Foundation's board.
Mm-hmm.
Erica Kodar, volunteer. Jennifer Curtis, Friends board member. And Jody Dietz, Friends board member.
And I will mention that those last four names were all phone-in messages for our Thanksgiving episode. They gave thanks for, their families and their lives, but also all the great things that are going on at the library. Who's the winner?
Let's find out. And the winner is Polly Alice McCann.
Oh,
from our Writers'
that's
Conference
great.
episode.
Yeah.
Why are poets always stricken when trees are cut down? Maybe we used to be trees in another life, but once lost, were born again, enter the world as people, so that we could get another chance to speak about the wind, the blossoms of seasons, the red fan of fall, of quickening, of time, and the haste of death, the shortness of love, the sturdiness of good neighbors, how to lean into a storm. As trees, somehow, we were not heard. So we trees rustle and whisper, twist with time's tempests, use words formed with letters rather than rings of being, and then we put them into books, books made of leaves, and they whisper quietly. They whisper quietly.
All right. Best acting. You know, we sometimes get people in here and ask them to thespian it up. And
you mean that wasn't a real turkey?
And Charles and I, we admit that we are amazing actors. And we decided to take ourselves off the list. But if you remember the summer reading episode, Charles did a couple characters. I did a few characters too. And we had a real good time with it. I don't know if it was quality podcasting, but we had fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Best Acting, the nominees are
The Narwhals from the summer reading episode.
Yeah, and that was
Angel and Trisha.
Yeah, right.
And we have next nominee, Carl the Turkey from our Thanksgiving episode, as portrayed by Brian Behrens.
Yeah, wow.
And the last nominee, the Happy Crab from our summer reading episode, portrayed by Patty Combs.
Oh yeah, she did a great job with that. I'm a little worried now because one of our nominees is County Librarian Trisha Sulentrop, and what if she doesn't win? Is that the end of the podcast?
Possibly.
Oh no,
we'll see.
What? Well, it's the committee. All right,
it's true. It's not us.
It's not us. It's this committee.
Yeah. Let's see. And the winner is Carl the Turkey.
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
Behrens. Congratulations.
How could you not?
That's true.
I think it was just about the most hilarious segment of our podcast season.
His dedication to that role was admirable.
Yeah. There's a saying: great actors don't act; they gobble up the spotlight. I don't know if that's the same. By the way, Mr. Turkey, what's your name? Well, his name is Larry the Turkey, and he comes from Lewisburg, Kansas.
Larry from Lewisburg. Well, that's great to have you, Larry. I think I'll just go ahead and ask some questions if you want to translate.
Yeah,
for us.
because I talk turkey. So
there
let's
we
do
go.
it. All right.
Okay, so Larry, what are you most thankful for this year?
Sure. Yeah. Right. Okay, so he says friends, family, the Did You Hear podcast. Thank you very much, Larry. That's great. The e-library, and Larry says that he really likes Libby because he's able to read his ebooks and watch some free streaming video on Canopy because apparently there's some good bird documentaries on there we should check out. And he says he's learning a new trade on Udemy.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Active library user. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Larry, what do you think is the hardest part about being a turkey?
Larry says getting eaten. Maybe next question.
Okay. Well, along those same lines, what would be an alternative to turkey as a main course on Thanksgiving?
Oh my goodness. So apparently Larry knows a lot of alternatives. He says anything but turkey, and why not a veggie lasagna or tofu or a whole roasted cauliflower, lentil shepherd's pie, or zucchini enchiladas. It's making him hungry, he says.
Sound good to me too.
Yeah. So, moving right along, best episode, and the nominees are?
The nominees are October, the Library Lowdown Quiz Showdown Part 2.
That was my favorite. Yeah. If you remember, we did Bluff the Librarian and Library Password.
Okay, yeah.
That was a good one.
Those were good games. The next nominee is April, Silver and Gold.
And if you remember that one, we asked the same 10 questions of an outgoing employee that was retiring after 36 years, maybe, and of somebody that was just completing our new employee orientation class as a new hire.
Yeah. And our final nominee for Best Episode, November, Thanksgiving, Huga, and Turkey Talk.
Yeah, and kudos to you, Charles. You came up with that concept. You brought that concept
Well, I didn't.
Right. You brought the concept of Huga to my attention. It's like, this might be good for the podcast. And you were absolutely correct. All 3 of those episodes were outstanding. I can't wait to learn which one won.
Okay, well, let's find out. And your winner for the 2022 episode of the year is all of them.
All 3.
All 3 are.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? You are the real winner out there if you've gotten to listen to a full year of the Did You Hear podcast, because, it's truly your library insider, and hopefully you've learned a whole bunch. Boy, we sure have.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I move pursuant to KSA 12-1225BA5 that the Board of Directors of the Johnson County Library extend an offer of employment to Tricia Solentrop to serve as County Librarian for the Johnson County Library commencing on the first day of July 2022 on terms to be agreed by the parties.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I think that's it. Well,
Are you ready for a story? Come sit down quietly with our listening ears and our eyes to see. Read with me. And then you can just go ahead and sink your breath up and raise and lower. So raise as you inhale and lower as you exhale. In the chair, we might try just scooting forward and just raising up, raising our hips up and lower. Inhale and exhale.
What is fluid art, you might ask? Fluid art, which is also known as flow art, liquid art, or acrylic paint pouring, is a fun and popular abstract painting technique that involves the use of fluid art mediums, such as free-flowing acrylic or very runny acrylics, powdered pigments, or inks.
We store it in a sink and we assist other branches.
We maintain the collection, and I also do inventory to make sure that we have what we have and it says it is. And we do redistribution, means we go and find certain parts of our collection and move them around to different locations so everybody has access to it.
They could be pulling those items for holds. They could be restocking shelves. They work on the drive-thrus if there's a drive-thru for the branch.
We're going to rotate now. So you guys will
Oh, look at all the faces. The slideshow's down. Now I get to see everybody's face. Hi, everybody. I want to thank you for joining us for this appreciation event, Must Reads for 2022. If you tuned in a little early, you got to hear Sean Casterly and Greg chat about book events and the power of the library. That was pretty fun.
I'm not sure if the glass is half empty or half full. Coffee shops leave me homesick for 8-minute drives to your cul-de-sac, to your arms. You're always busy. And although refills and ring stains hold a pointer finger to pursed lips, I cannot convince myself the same when I tell you not to worry about it.
Hi, this is Amber Dawkins. I was just calling to read a snippet of Oceans of Possibilities for the podcast. Many cystic fibrosis patients relocate to live near the ocean as their lung function declines. The salt in the coastal air simulates a hypertonic saline treatment, helping to break up the mucus that slowly collects in their weakened lungs. Like the daily nebulized breathing treatments and inhalers they do at home, this helps them breathe a little easier. For them, the ocean is a possibility.
My name's Ian Fannin Hughes. My work is all you wanted was the ocean. So here it is. Dad, I wanted my boots off, you said to me. You couldn't stand on your own without your boots, and those prosthetic braces held you back. You wanted to feel the water, and I understood. So I threw your shoes, your braces, socks far behind us, somewhere in the sand. I barely had to help you walk because you were so excited to get there. You walked only a few steps, and then you ran as fast as your little body could into the oncoming wave. I was with you, though I think at that moment you were too distracted to know that. I felt happiness then, like I hadn't known for so long. It was real happiness, no longer diluted by guilt or sadness. And how hard it is, it still is to see your future, to know what to expect, to fear the worst, and to know that life is going to be hard for you. It shouldn't be, but it will be. But here we were, carefree and happy. I could feel your heart thumping as I held you under your arms. I could feel the breathing through the ventilator on my back. The waves cascaded over your feet as you crept ever forward, determined to become fully submerged. I was awed, not by the ocean, but by you. Right then, for an instant, everything was perfect. And right then, it was everything to see you in the ocean.
We really can't wait until next year because who knows what that is going to bring. We have talked at different times about this idea of following the story of a story, where you are looking at how the concept of a story begins, how that turns into a short story or a longer story, a novel, getting something published, how the library gets it on their radar. We purchase it, it gets processed, all those things to get it into the patron's hands. And eventually it wears out its welcome and it must be weeded from our collection and ends up in a book sale.
That's true.
To help fund other, the purchasing of other books. However, we're not sure that that's the course we're going to go to. So that's our big cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. You are definitely welcome to share your thoughts. Please visit the jocolibrary.org/did-you-hear page and look at the front page of our website, jocolibrary.org. Pretty soon we will have some survey information there because we really want to know what is it that you would like to hear, and that might greatly influence what the heck we do next year.
That's true. Yeah. Like Dave said, we're your library insider. So we want to bring you the stories from behind the scenes that you're interested in hearing and that would most impact your life, or that something you're curious about.
Absolutely. And it may very well be that our guests that are going to share what they are really excited about in the coming future, that may very well influence some of what we might do as well.
Yeah.
Let's hear what they have to say.
My name is Elissa Andre, and I'm the External Communications Manager for Johnson County Library. So due to the nature of our work, the communications team is really privileged to see and hear about all the wonderful work all the departments are doing in the library, and then we get to figure out how to promote it to our community. So there's many things that I get to see and I'm excited about for 2023. So there's many new staff and people changing roles in the new year. Our new county librarian, Tricia Stellentrop, is settling into her role now, and we're onboarding a new deputy county librarian, Kinsley Riggs. And although we'll miss Stephanie Stolzheimer in her retirement, we'll have a new development and foundation director in the spring. And selfishly, I'm thrilled to onboard a new social media coordinator in my department. So exciting to see growth there. We're really ramping up our outreach into the community. We're going to do more in-person events, listening sessions, have a presence at community events. So if you'd like us to come talk about the library to your organization, call our main line or send us an email. Work is continuing on the comprehensive library master plan. The Merriam Plaza Library construction is underway, so we'll have lots of interesting behind-the-scenes stories to tell about that process. Our board is going to provide direction on updates to the DeSoto and Spring Hill libraries. Talks continue with Prairie Village about the future of Corinth, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary in February. And Oak Park and Shawnee are on the docket for updates and upgrades. And then speaking of makeovers, our website and patron notification emails are scheduled for a bit of a facelift. Really excited to start that process. And finally, our board has asked library staff to investigate new fine structure options, so we'll be presenting a recommendation to them in the spring. I wish I had more time to list out all the exciting things our amazing staff are working on, but you'll just have to stay tuned to our website, at Joco Library on social media, our guides and newsletters throughout the year. See what I did there? Just want to say thank you to our hardworking staff and to our credible community for your support every day of the year, and happy 2023.
This is your Library Insider.
Did you hear?
Did you hear?
Goodbye.